Hi, everybody. Welcome to another episode of SaaS Founder Stories. My name is David Brennan, and today I have Dr. Dumebi with me, and she is the founder of AmaRise, sorry, my bad. And she's going to give us a little bit of information about what they do and their ideal customer, and then she's going to teach us a little bit about some of the things that she's been doing at her company. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me, David. Hi, everyone. I'm Rise. We are a one-stop shop for holistic and alternative healing and wellness. Our platform is really dedicated to connecting individuals with our network of alternative and holistic practitioners, such as like nature-based coaching, herbalists. I mean, we can go on astrology. We have a plethora of modalities offered there. And how we do this essentially is we really get to know you or your business more through utilizing our human wellness coaches and wellness practitioners, of course, and also AI to get to know your journey, your wellness journey, to match you with not just the ideal person, but the ideal modality and follow you through your journey, your ever evolving journey. So if you start with the herbalist, and then you need to go to a mindfulness coach and go back to the herbalist, we are here with you to plan that and take that stuff away from
Very, very cool. So who are you, who is like the ideal person or who did you build this for?
Yeah, honestly, really, I built it for myself. No, but really the ideal customer. We have two larger arms. So our B2B, our ideal customer, when we think of B2B, is a forward-thinking employer, a startup, mid-sized company, small, that recognizes the importance of holistic and alternative care for their employees. Embracing that well-being, productivity, retention is beyond just Westernized healthcare or even strictly more popular mental health, that there are other avenues for that. So these companies are typically fast-paced, high-stress industries such as like tech and finance, the creative sectors and stuff, and demand kind of a lot of their employees. So they see employees have quite a bit of burnout and maybe some decreased morale. We are like you, we are the solution for a lot of that. We love those ideal customers and to support them. And then when we think of the B2C aspect of it, I kind of say like someone who's just sick and tired of being sick and tired. And I think there's so many great options there, and it depends on where you are. We are US based, so healthcare systems has its own challenges. So when it comes to some of the healing and longer term wellness aspects of things, there's some gaps in the market, and we are committed to having a personalized journey for you, comprehensive wellness outside of just your physical or only your mental health, because we look at emotional, even spiritual, and offering these holistic solutions for you. And without the over stress of trying to think of how do you find the right practitioner for you, like we are really here to take that stress away from you so you can prioritize and focus on your healing.
Very, very cool. I love it. I think it's having founded and run a few of these startups, tech companies, it's so one of the big concerns that we always talk about is like burnout and like
Mm,
wellness and making sure that we're watching each other as a team. And so it's really cool to see these type of products come out because I think there's a huge need for it. And I've lost some of my
mm,
most incredible people multiple times to burnout. And so having tools for them to be able to easily access different
mm.
systems, modalities, treatments, practitioners is really, really cool. And I love it. So that's super cool. So you're, just for a little bit, what's the big thing you've been working on for the last 6 months that you want to share with us and teach us about how you overcame the big challenge and yeah, let us
That's
know,
a
teach us.
for sure. It's a lot of challenges, as you know, as a startup founder yourself. But I would say the biggest thing has been ensuring that seamless integration of that human touch and technology. Because we are dealing with the wellness and the healing of somebody, we have to make sure that we prioritize that human element. While at the same time, we know at the scale we're looking to scale and also just keeping up with folks today. Like in 2024, we move fast. So technology has to also be at the forefront of what we're doing. So I think that integration on our platform, that has been the biggest challenge there. Um, Making sure we have that robust user experience there, but also ensuring that we have the support in place for our practitioners. Because one thing folks don't think of is like practitioners are there, but who supports the practitioners? Because we also do that. We're supporting the users and practitioners alike, and really defining our intake processes and listening to the feedback and making sure that we have accessibility for people who have different needs as well. So I would say that whole thing, it's still we're learning. It's still continuing to be something we are refining, but we are much better today than we were 6 months ago.
So for you, what were the, like going into that usability side for your software, what are the tools that you used and systems that you put in place to actually help you solve that and make it better in your software?
Yeah, I think that's a good question there. I would say definitely making it more digestible. So I think, especially when we think about our mental health, emotional health, it's overwhelming. So trying to ensure that we're only bringing one piece at a time up to our customers. And then in working with Ari, who's our AI assistant there, ensuring that every step of the way, everything is as digestible and simple as possible for the process of like understanding and learning and continuing to learn about our clients. I would say that's a big thing. And just listening. We got to listen to our customers.
So do you use like for you to gather the information, like to listen to them, are you using tracking systems in your software? Are you using lots of conversations, combination of both? How do you do that?
Yeah, a combination of both. Um, all of the data is tracked. So even when you're like in practitioners on our side, we track all the data to ensure that we're consistently updating. And we definitely use some of our artificial intelligence to help support that there. And then conversation too, like anytime you're even chatting with our support assistant or something, we ensure that we're always understanding the best ways to communicate with you.
That's super cool. So if I'm a new user, do you have conversations with me when I come in person, or are you using your chat and then using that information that you gather from the chat to understand what they're talking about and asking for and how they want to use the system?
Yes, great question again. So when you start off, you're just going to start with our assessment. So it's just going to break down questions one by one. It's about a 20-25 question assessment. And then from there, you create your profile. So once you create your profile and you've selected a plan and you've started with us, then this is when you then talk to our assistant Ari. And then that is just a conversation that flows there. Additionally, we have wellness coordinators and human support systems that kind of come in and step in the way because you will also continue to get additional assessments over time, but initial recommendations will come. So your communications could look like then after we looked at things and we understood some of the first needs, you're scheduling your first session. We're scheduling your first session with your practitioner. And then you have that conversation with your practitioner. But it's like this continued conversation where we're trying to ensure that we are talking to you and communicating every step of the way.
And so do you guys like what really is interesting to me is like your what I found in software development and product development is that you're having those conversations with your customers and being able to track and understand what they're saying, and then pull that out and use that in your internal conversations as a team on
Hmm.
what are we building next? How are we building this? Why do we think this is the right thing to do, or the right thing to build? What's the problem it's solving for the customer? Um, how do you like actually get that data out from the customer doing the thing, coming onto your side, doing all the things you just said, but then you
Hmm.
actually being able to use that internally as a team?
Yeah. So this is an evolving process too. So some of our questions, actually quite a few of our questions are on a scale instead of you doing an open-ended answer. So that allows us to usually come and measure it. Now, I will say my background, I have in a lot of my graduate studies, I've developed some assessments that we're using and testing out as well to help kind of collect the data over time, with also hiring experts to help support us as we're analyzing that as well there. But in conversation there, at this time, we're really taking it more as a study because we're more in beta mode at this point to see how to better adapt. And of course, collecting user feedback every step of the way to incorporate and prioritize which changes we are. So I'd say there's quantitative and qualitative data. Quantitative data is a bit easier for us to work with. Qualitative data is something we are figuring out. And I think a lot of startup founders can resonate when it's like, okay, you have this information. Great. We're figuring out what to do with it.
Well, I think that never changes as you're moving through it. Like
No.
it's always, you're always collecting more information and understanding the customer better and understanding the problem in the shifting market. And so, yeah, I'm excited to like see how you use it in the future. So what's for you guys going forward? What's the next 6 months look like? What are you going to be working on? What are the business challenges that you and the team are passionate about solving, and that's going to allow you to grow and get to the next level?
Yeah. I think some of the stuff where I touched on a few user feedback is definitely really important for us. But that sense of community, we were learning that our users feel that that sense of community is one of the most important pieces for them. And it's something that we definitely prioritized in there, but it wasn't our like number one, two, or three in that. So I think that is something that we are learning is super important. And we are now trying to strategize and make sure we're prioritizing continuing to have that sense of community for our folks. We did not expect that to be the number one piece of feedback and things that folks are wanting in this. So the future looks like on a digital, because we're essentially we're virtual. We don't do in person at the moment. Outside of those companies that would like us to do workshops and retreats for them that are employee packages like that, we do. Otherwise, our one-on-one sessions with folks are just on a virtual space. So trying to figure out how to make that real. I would also say scaling because there's such a large human touch element to this. How I kind of describe it, it's like it's kind of 50-50. It's like 50% technology, 50% that human touch because when you're having those stuff, it's human. So making sure and ensuring that we're scaling and we're understanding how to strategize that method for us. And we are touching into a global market now. So being US based, there's a lot of stuff that we cater to the US. But as we're touching into Canada and other places too, things might be similar like between US and Canada, but you have some key differences, especially in your health and wellness programs and offerings that you have there. So I think that and being able to adapt to the changes in market, not just in the US, but globally as well. So those are some of the big things. And of course, we are um, raising funding as we're always doing in startup world here. So like balancing the investor relation needs with everything. David, I know you feel me on this. Like we're just trying to do everything.
Yeah, I have no idea what you're talking about. Never experienced any of it. No, that's
I
for
want to
sure.
be you.
No, no, no. We're every one of us is in the hurt locker with you, so don't worry. That's why we created the show, right? That's what the whole thing's
Yeah.
about, is being able to share with other founders. And so the final piece is, what can the network help you with? What would be something that, if listeners were able to, what could they help you with?
Um, Supporting, I think, is a big thing. Like we all as we both support one another in our businesses, support is a big thing. And I think in this phase where we're looking at doing more advanced development, we are seeking some very strong, and I would say AI engineers that have a bit more of a unique background as well. Because we're learning there's a bit intersection between the wellness aspect and also the AI engineering that's needed. So I would say that's something that we would also like to support in aside from, just share and share. I'm here. I love to support other founders too. This business really is created to support other businesses. So please, however we can support, reach out. Would love to chat more.
Perfect. So there you are. If you have a AI engineer that has a unique background that can help, let us know. Okay, thank you
Yeah.
very much for coming on the show. I really, really appreciated it, and I can't wait to watch your journey.
Thank you, David. It's a pleasure, and we can't wait to continue to support you and your company.
Thank you very much. Have a great day.
You as well.